Welcome back. Maybe you've already noticed the giant beast of a flashlight sitting on my desk right here. This is the Fenix LR60R 21,000 lumen searchlight. Let's check it out. This is everything the Fenix LR60R comes with. This gigantic box right here. I'll give you a look at the front. Right there, the back, typical lumens and runtime information. It also comes with a shoulder strap right here where if you're carrying this monster around for any given amount of time, you're probably gonna want this. It also comes with a USB Type A to Type C charging cable, but it could also turn into a Type C to Type C charging cable. Here is your lanyard that is not elastic. Also comes with a 1/4-20 tripod adapter and a spare rubber O-ring. But as always, I'm kicking all this off to the side and I'll give you guys a nice close-up of the Fenix LR60R. And while you guys are checking this out, look at this. Let's talk about some of the features. All right, the Fenix LR60R has a maximum output of 21,000 lumens, a max throw of 1,085 meters, and a max intensity of 294,267 candela. It also has a maximum runtime of 113 hours on Eco. And kicking out those 21,000 lumens is a single Luminus SFT70 LED for its spot mode and 12 Luminus SST40 LEDs for its flood mode, which produce a cool white beam right around 6,000 Kelvin. It features 10 modes, including 4 spotlight levels, 3 floodlight levels, 1 combo mode, and 2 special modes, strobe and SOS, which can be controlled with a mechanical rotary switch, and is powered by a 14.4 volt, 4,000 milliamp hour battery pack that's equivalent to 4 21700 batteries. That battery pack can be charged via the USB Type-C charging port on the head of the flashlight, and it can be used as a power bank. There's an OLED smart display that shows brightness level, remaining runtime, and remaining battery level, and comes with a removable metal handle. It's impact resistant up to 1 meter, with an IP rating of 68. The 6 means it's completely dustproof, and the 8 means it's submersible in up to 6 feet of water. Plus, it comes with a limited lifetime warranty straight from Fenix. All right, let's talk dimensions. It has a length of 8.15 inches, a head diameter of 3.35 inches, and a body diameter of 2.5 inches. And according to my weight test, it comes in at 52.91 ounces. That's 1,500 grams, and yes, I did weigh it with the battery on it. So the LR60R can be used as one thing and one thing only in my opinion, and that is as a searchlight. And as a searchlight, it does it very well. I'll give you a look right down the barrel there at that single Luminus SFT70 LED, that's the one right dead center. And surrounding that reflector are 12 Luminus SST40 LEDs that make up the floodlight. And then I'll give you a close-up of that proximity sensor right there. So if this flashlight gets close to any object, it will reduce the lumen output to 50 no matter what mode you're in. That is, of course, unless you're in the 50 lumen eco mode, because it's gonna dim down to that 50 lumens anyways. But if you're in any other mode, it will dim down to that eco mode. Either love it or hate it. It works very well here. And I'll quickly demonstrate it if I put on 300 lumens so I don't blind everybody, because this flashlight will blind everybody. So you can see when I get about an inch away from the table, it dims down to that 50 lumens and then goes right back to 300. And you probably already saw one of the main draws of this flashlight, other than the 21,000 lumen output, is this mechanical rotary dial right here. So off is dead center right there, and depending on which way you turn it, left or right, you're either gonna put it in spotlight mode or floodlight mode, which Fenix is calling search mode for the spot mode and camp mode for the floodlight mode. Not really sure why they can't just keep it simple and call it spot and flood, but it is what it is. And I'll give you a close-up of the markings on that mechanical dial. You can see the levels right there, and all the way over here, you can see the SOS and strobe. Now, the mechanical dial feels very nice here. It's very smooth in its operation. Now, I like everything about this mechanical dial. It makes this searchlight very functional, very easy to use, except I have one negative here, is that there's no way to lock out this flashlight. And I'll talk about this a little bit later on in this video, but for a flashlight that has 21,000 maximum lumens and has a mechanical dial such as this, I want some way to lock it out other than twisting the tail cap. But other than that, I think this mechanical dial is one of the standout features of this flashlight. Next, I'll give you a close-up of this OLED display. So once you turn it, you can see it says Fenix, and then it goes to the lumen output, the battery percentage, and time remaining on that mode. And as I twist the dial, you can see it goes to 300, 1000, 3000, and let me just move out of the way because the next mode is 21,000. Oh my God, that is ridiculous. So let me just back that off. The 21,000 lumen mode is its only combination mode, meaning when you have 21,000 lumens here, it's going to be a combination of spot and flood. And that's the only combination mode that's available in the LR60R. And if I twist the dial the other way, it's going to go into flood mode where there's 2,000, 6,000, and 15,000 lumens. And if I keep going, these are our special modes right here. That's SOS, and then a very bright strobe light. And then right under that OLED display, you can see this rubberized cover covering the USB Type-C charging port and the USB Type-A out. That's right, you can plug in a USB Type-A cable right there and use this flashlight as a power bank. And I'm just gonna demo that for you real quick. I have the Type-A to Type-C charging cable that comes with the LR60R. I'm just gonna plug it in right there. And the flashlight I'm going to charge is the Fenix LR60R right here. So once I plug in the USB Type-C cable, you can see it's charging the flashlight right now. So obviously a power bank feature on a flashlight isn't new, but it's always welcome when I see it. It's just such a handy feature. Also, when you're using it as a power bank, you can see the OLED display changes to show that. And speaking of that OLED display changing, I'm going to plug it into the USB Type-C to charge it. And when I plug it in, check that out. I know it's really nothing, but I just thought it was really cool to see this animation right here when the flashlight's charging. And regarding the body itself, the body's made of aluminum, and the construction here is just fantastic. This thing is a tank. It feels like a solid brick of a flashlight. At the head here, you can see those heat dissipating rings, and I'm gonna do a heat test in a little bit, but I don't know the exact numbers, but when I was testing this flashlight, the head definitely got hot. The rest of the body, meaning the battery pack, felt fine, but the head definitely was hot. But that's really a non-issue if you use this included metal handle to hold it. Either this metal handle, or you can attach the included strap right here, which I never use these. I know a lot of you guys like to use the straps. I never use it. Or if you need to mount this to a tripod, it comes with this tripod adapter right here. It's 1/4 so you can either mount it to the bottom of the flashlight right here, or it can be mounted right to the handle right here. So there's two different places to mount that tripod adapter. I never use the tripod adapter, but this handle, I'm definitely a fan of. I've been using it with the handle on the whole time I've had it. But if you don't like this handle, it is removable. Just remove those two screws right there, and the handle comes right off. And just for the heck of it, I'm gonna remove the tail right here, and you can see it's on a 3-spring system at the tail. Now I'll just remove that battery pack right there, and you can see near the head, there are no springs, just those terminals up there. And the last thing I want to show you at the tail is the lanyard attachment right there. So if you do decide to go without the handle, you can still put on that lanyard right there. And now let's do a quick size comparison. The LR60R here to the LR35R right there. It just dwarfs it. And then let's bring in the LR50R right there. So if you guys have the LR50R, you get a good idea of how large the LR60R is in comparison. All right, let's go over the lumens and runtime. Let's start in spotlight mode, which Fenix is calling search mode. So there's Eco at 50 lumens, has a maximum runtime of 113 hours. But even in Eco, it has a throwing distance of 132 meters. Then low at 300 lumens has a runtime of 24 hours and 20 minutes, a throw of 330 meters. And then medium, 1000 lumens, a runtime of 10 hours and 40 minutes with a 607 meter throw. And then high at 3000 lumens, a runtime of 3 hours and 45 minutes, and has a throw of 1000 meters. And now floodlight mode, which Fenix is calling camp mode, it starts at medium, 2000 lumens, has a runtime of 5 hours and 25 minutes. High is 6000 lumens, has a runtime of 3 hours, and turbo, 15,000 lumens, has a runtime of 2 hours and 10 minutes. Now, of course, that has an asterisk right there, along with the turbo in spot and flood. That's the one combo mode. 21,000 lumens has a runtime of 1 hour and 50 minutes. with a maximum throwing distance of 1,085 meters. Now, when I was unofficially testing this out, the 21,000 lumen turbo lasted for about a minute, and then it stepped down to 8,000 lumens. And then turbo with the floodlight mode started at 15,000 lumens, lasted about a minute, and then stepped down to 7,000 lumens. Now, those numbers aren't exact. That was just me messing around with the flashlight. I'll do a more official version coming up very shortly. The two special modes are strobe, 9,000 lumen strobe, and a 300 lumen SOS. I love the 9,000 lumen strobe. The 300 lumen SOS, not so much. That 300 lumens has to be upped a little bit. Give us at least 1,000 lumen SOS here. And if you guys watch a lot of my flashlight reviews, you know I complain sometimes about the mode spacing. But I feel like it's a little more justified right here, especially in the spotlight mode, where it goes from 50 to 300 to 1,000 to 3,000, which I think is excellent. But then the jump from 3,000 to 21,000, I think is a little excessive. This, more than any flashlight that I reviewed this year, needs something in between that 3,000 lumens and that 21,000 lumens. But literally everything else here is great. Even the floodlight from 2 to 6 to 15. I like that. So give me a brightness level between 3 and 21,000 lumens and up that SOS. Then we're making some improvements here. Now, this is normally where I go over the UI, but I basically already went over the UI. The UI is so easy with this mechanical dial. All you have to do is just turn the dial and that's it. So based on which way you turn it, you're going to end up in flood or you're going to end up in spot. But here's where I want to talk about the one negative of the mechanical dial, and that is no lockout modes. And with flashlights with no button press lockout modes or any kind of lockout mode at all, I usually give them a pass because all you have to do normally is just give the tail a little quarter twist and locks out the flashlight. But with the LR60R, not so much. So let me just show you. If I turn this on 50 lumen eco, I'm going to start right here and start rotating the handle. That's a quarter twist. That is a full half, 3/4. That's a full twist. Now, 1 full and a quarter and 1 full and a half. 1 full, there you go. So 1 full and right between a half and 3/4 is right where the flashlight turns off. And at this point, this tail is way too loose. So I'm not even going to count that as a tail cap twist lockout, because at that point, you might as well just take the whole tail off and take the battery out. So for me, this is a huge negative of this flashlight, is not having any kind of lockout for something so powerful. Yes, I'm aware it has no button, so there can't be a button press lockout. But with a mechanical dial like this, all you would really have to do is put a little notch right here on the mechanical dial. And if there was a notch there, all you need is some sort of tab to press up and physically lock out that dial from switching. And then when you're ready to use the flashlight, just push that down and freely use the dial. That seems like a great solution to me. I would never feel comfortable putting this in a backpack or even storing it in my car with a mechanical dial loose like this. That 21,000 lumens is just way too powerful. Yes, they did kind of combat that with putting a proximity sensor right there. But say, for example, I put this somewhere and nothing's 1 inch from this lens, and you have this 21,000 lumen flashlight just burning holes through everything. Yes, that is a possibility just based on how smooth this mechanical dial is and how easy it is to rotate. So I'm going to leave that as a negative for the LR60R. So for me, the only way to transport this or take this anywhere, especially in a backpack, is take the battery out. Now it's time for my not so scientific heat and turbo test. Here I let the flashlight run for 2 minutes, and then I take its temperature at the head and the body after 1 minute and then after 2 minutes. After 1 minute at the head, it read 122 degrees Fahrenheit, and at the body, it was 73.8 degrees Fahrenheit. So once again, this is a non-issue if you use the handle, but even if you take the handle off and just hold the battery pack, you're not going to have any issues here on that 21,000 lumen turbo. 73.8 degrees is nothing. And then after 2 minutes at the head, it rose 1 degree to 123, and at the body, it rose slightly to 76.2 degrees Fahrenheit. 123 degrees is hot, but you're basically never going to touch that head. You're either going to be touching the body at the battery pack or just use the handle. And regarding the turbo step down, I'll put up the exact numbers on the screen right now when it started to step down and when it ended that step down. All right, let's do the beam test. So we'll start here on spot mode on Eco. Very nice. So you're going to see why I say that this is a a searchlight through and through. Because this searchlight is just pretty badass, honestly. I mean, even on Eco 50 lumens, look at that. I am easily hitting that barn over there without a problem. See those trees? Right there. I'll put up the distance between me and that tree and then me and that barn as always. But let's go to low, 300 lumens. And wow, gives you a nice idea of that beam profile there. Look at that nice crispy hotspot. I love that in a searchlight. Very intense hotspot, even at that 300 lumens. I'm even hitting those trees back there. You guys can see that. It's been raining here the last couple nights, and it's actually a pretty nice night tonight. A little cold, but not bad. So that's 300. And now let's go to, what is this, 1,000 lumens. Very nice. Cool white beam right around 6,000 Kelvin. Man, I always love these throwers in spotlight mode like this. It just looks like a lightsaber. Look at that. And there is a helicopter, or no, that's an airplane. I don't want to hit that airplane with this spotlight, so I'm going to try to keep this low. And let's go to high. This is 3,000 lumens right there. And that airplane is going to pass right over top of us. So it's going to get a little loud probably. But just look at that intense hotspot, man. Just pointing right at the ground right there. And then boom, and let's go right to turbo. Now this is going to be spotlight and flood at the same time. 21,000 lumens. And I just turned my whole backyard to daylight. Look at this. That is an intense combo spot and flood right there. I mean, are you kidding me? That is an intense light right there. So I'm going to go all the way back. So that was awesome. Let's go to 0. Now let's do the floodlight mode. So it's going to start at 2,000. There's a 2,000 flood. I'll give you an idea of just how wide that flood is. It's pretty wide. I'll just keep the light still, move the camera around. That is 6,000 right there. Look at this. I'll take it away just so you see how dark. Man, let me turn it off. This is dark, and that's 6,000 lumens. And then 15,000 right there. So we're not going to get long in 15,000 lumens. Like I said, it's right around a minute. It's going to step down to about 7,000 after. And then the next are the SOS and, of course, the strobe. But that's enough of this location. I'm going to move on to the other side. So the Fenix LR60R is a monster searchlight. Even though you're not getting much time on that 21,000 lumen combo beam, the combination of flood and spot, if you're really looking for something and you can't find it then, you're not going to find it. It literally turned night into day back there. You guys saw it. I mean, this thing is no joke. Even though I do wish there was a mode between that 3,000 lumens and that 21,000 lumens. I think the flood modes are great. I like the spacing between the 2, 6, and 15. The inclusion of SOS and strobe is welcome here, even though I wish that SOS was a little bit brighter than 300 lumens. The overall build quality is fantastic. I love this mechanical dial. It feels great. The fast charging USB Type-C port, it takes about an hour and a half to charge this whole flashlight from dead to completely full. But the fact that you can also use this as a power bank to charge other flashlights, which I think that's great as well. And being able to easily see what brightness level you're in, the battery percentage, and time remaining on that brightness level on this OLED display. That's great. But now let's talk about a few negatives I have about the LR60R. One of them you guys already know about, and I think it's a big deal, where there's no way to lock out this mechanical dial at all. A simple groove right here on the mechanical dial with the tab that you can just literally push up or push down would do the trick. But as is, the only way to lock out this flashlight is either turn this tail cap almost 2 full revolutions or just remove the battery altogether, which honestly, that's just a pain in the butt. The second negative is, of course, the price. At $420, yes, this is an expensive searchlight, especially when they're marketing this as a 21,000 lumen flashlight, which it is, but for a very limited time. And as flashlight lovers, I'm sure we're all used to that by now. So this is basically a 3,000 lumen spotlight or 6,000 lumen floodlight with a 15,000 or 21,000 lumen burst mode. As awesome as those 15,000 lumen and 21,000 lumen burst modes are. So the no lockout and the price of this flashlight are my only 2 negatives. If you guys can afford this flashlight and are looking for an awesome portable searchlight, you might want to check this out. Just based on the 21,000 lumen brightness level here, it's just awesome. All right, guys, that's pretty much it for this video. What do you think of the Fenix LR60R? Now, if you want to check this out for yourself, I will have links down below in my description box. But if you did enjoy this video, please give me that thumbs up. Please subscribe and go.